A palisade stands silent in the wind. Sand pushes against the posts. Doors hang open. Cooking pots sit cold. No footprints, no bodies. Only one word carved into a gatepost, deep and deliberate. Croatoan. Over 100 men, women, and children are gone. Vanished from Roanoke Island. No smoke on the horizon. No torn sails on the shore. No sign of a fight. Just a single clue and a timeline that snapped while England was looking the other way. Imagine if the first English colony in the New World didn't die. Imagine if it simply moved, changed shape, changed names, and then melted into the map so completely that the legend of their disappearance was easier to remember than the truth. Here's what we know. In 1587, John White leads 115 colonists at Roanoke. Among them is his daughter, Eleanor, and her newborn, Virginia Dare. The plan, according to White's notes, is to settle near the Chesapeake, not here. But after a tense encounter and a captain in a hurry, they stay. Food runs low. Relations with some local tribes are strained. A storm season bruises the coast. White sails back to England to get supplies. He promises to return quickly. Then history slams shut. Spain launches the Armada. English ports swarm with war. White can't get a ship. He can't even get a small one. 3 years vanish in politics, storms, and bad luck. When he finally returns in 1590, the beach is empty. Houses are dismantled, not burned. Gardens are wild, not trampled. On a tree, he finds 3 letters, C-R-O. On a post, the full word, Croatoan. He had told the colonists to carve a Maltese cross if they were forced to move under attack. There is no cross, just that single word. And then a storm rips his anchor away. White never reaches Croatoan Island to see if his family is there. He turns back to England. He never returns. That is the stage. One carved word, one missing colony. A search that never quite searched the right place. Now look at the context the legend forgets. According to tree ring data studied by climatologists, the Roanoke years were some of the worst droughts in 8 centuries. Food was scarce across the region. According to Spanish records, patrols along the coast in the 1580s looked for English outposts and found none to destroy. And according to John White's own map, later examined by conservators, a patch may conceal a small fort symbol far inland along the Albemarle Sound, a potential Plan B, hidden in plain sight. But here's the catch. Stories harden faster than facts. For 400 years, the vanished colony made a better headline than colony relocated. It sounds more magical, more tragic, more marketable. And yet, every small piece of physical evidence whispers the same thing. They left on purpose. Start with the common sense clues. Houses were taken down, not torched. Valuable iron was removed. The palisades still stood, and the carving was not a panic mark scratched in haste. It was clean, deep, and spelled right. Croatoan wasn't a riddle. It was a forwarding address. Croatoan Island is Hatteras today, home of Manteo's people. Manteo was an ally. He sailed to England. He returned with the colonists. He was baptized there. If you must move quickly, you go to friends, not enemies. Years later, Jamestown men hear rumors of Europeans living with native tribes to the south and to the west. In 1607 and 1608, Captain John Smith writes that Powhatan claimed to have killed some settlers who lived in a place he called Okanahowan. But the accounts conflict, and the timing is unclear, and Powhatan had reasons to frighten new arrivals. William Strachey, writing in 1612, reports that nearby tribes describe settlements with 2-story houses and copper. Reports, not proof, but a thread you can pull. Archaeology pulls it. On Hatteras, at sites near Buxton and Cape Creek, digs led by local historians and university teams uncovered a mix. Native tools alongside Elizabethan items. A slate writing tablet from the 16th century. Iron glaze from European clothing. A rapier hilt. Shards of English ceramics that date to the 1500s, not later Jamestown trade. Nothing alone is definitive. Together, the pile suggests a story of blending. English goods in a native context, used long after a camp on Roanoke went quiet. Farther inland, near Salmon Creek on the Albemarle Sound, archaeologists working with the First Colony Foundation found Elizabethan pottery known as borderware at a place they call Site X. The shards match the right era. They align with that little fort symbol hidden under a patch on John White's map. The team argues this was a small relocation group, not the whole colony. A fragment. So the picture sharpens. A drought squeezes Roanoke. Trade with some neighbors turns hostile. The supply ship never arrives. The colonists follow their instructions and relocate to Croatoan Island, where allies live and food is more reliable. Small groups split off some inland toward the Albemarle, possibly following the hidden plan, and maybe a few north toward the Chesapeake, where they had wanted to settle originally. There is no grand massacre. There is a messy human pivot. But if the trail is this logical, why does the mystery still live? Because the evidence lives in edges, and edges get buried. The Outer Banks migrate under storms. Shorelines move. Villages move with them. Sand swallows posts and spits up pottery miles away. Many of the right places sit under modern houses, roads, and protected dunes. Meanwhile, the loudest artifact ever tied to Roanoke, the Dare stones found in the 1930s, were almost certainly a hoax. They grabbed headlines for years, then collapsed under scrutiny, and poisoned the field for decades. Bad clues make good stories. Good clues are quieter. There's also the map in our heads. The legend of Disappearance serves a purpose. It dramatizes the costs of empire. It gives Virginia Dare a ghostly halo. It sells books and tourism. It makes for a good mystery show. A story of survival through assimilation is harder to headline. It is slower. It is patient. It asks us to accept that the first English settlement didn't vanish. It changed teams. Ask what the word meant in 1590, not what it means now. Croatoan. To John White and his daughter and his granddaughter, that word didn't signal terror. It signaled hope. It pointed to friends. It promised a reunion. The storm in history stole that reunion away. Here's the truth as the numbers and artifacts allow it. Problem: a colony placed in the wrong spot. Drought. Thin supplies. Political chaos in England. Local tensions. Mechanism: follow the orders carved into every plan from the start. If forced to move, leave a message. Go to the allies at Croatoan. Dismantle what you can. Save the iron. Carry the copper. Split into smaller units to reduce risk. Some head inland to fertile ground. Some head south along the islands. Some marry into tribes. The colony is no longer a single dot. It becomes a network. Impact. No bodies. No burned homes. No last stand. Just a legend born out of absence and a Europe that preferred a tragedy to a complicated success. If you want more investigations that sit exactly between legend and ledger, subscribe to Sensei Mystery. This is where history meets the unexplained. We publish the mystery behind history every week. Tap subscribe and join the hunt. Now let's test the rival theories quickly. Spanish raid. Records from Spanish Florida describe coastal patrols during the 1580s. They looked for English forts to destroy. They didn't report one at Roanoke in 1587 to 1590. And there's no burn lair, no cannon shot, no smash palisade. Low probability. Massacre by Powhatan. A report from Strachey claims Powhatan described killing people at a town inland. But the timing and location don't fit Roanoke well, and the story may be political theater. Moderate but unproven. Starve where they stood. Drought is real, but you don't dismantle houses and carve a destination if you all died in place. The site's careful condition fights that idea. Low. Assimilation with Croatoan and inland relocation. It fits the carving. It fits the missing distress cross. It fits the dismantled buildings. It fits the presence of English goods and native layers on Hatteras and inland. It fits the map patch. High probability, with room for mixed outcomes and later tragedies. Who benefited? The Croatoan gained allies, tools, and access to iron and copper. The English survivors gained food, shelter, and safety in numbers. The region gained a bridge culture for a time until disease, politics, and new colonists pulled history in harsher directions. Who lost? The mythmakers, eventually. Because real history is patient, and patient evidence is growing. What would prove the case for good? Isotopic analysis of ancient bones from known Hatteras burials compared with English diets of the 1580s. DNA only if ethical and approved by descendant communities. Micro-excavations under modern lots, guided by ground-penetrating radar. More targeted digs at Site X and the coast opposite it, sometimes called Site Y, where a second group may have farmed. And a fair review of oral histories from descendant tribes. The evidence is scattered. It is not invisible. Think about the map one last time. The first permanent English presence in North America might not be a fort. It might be a family in a native village, still speaking some English words and wearing copper glaze on a woven tunic. It might be a child who grows up with two names. It might be a life that did not leave a monument, but left descendants. That is not a disappearance. That is a transformation. And that single carved word, weathered and deep, was never a riddle. It was a promise. It was a message to a grandfather trapped by war and storms. We are safe. We moved. Find us at Croatoan. He never did. Tell me your verdict. Was Roanoke a tragedy, a migration, or a mix of both? What single piece of evidence would convince you beyond doubt? Leave your theory below. The best comments get pinned and might shape our next investigation. Watch next. Labobu toy, cursed or just a myth? Also watch what's really hidden beneath Egypt's ancient pyramids.